my name is Amanda. This is my husband, James. We've been married for 9 years now. He works for Microsoft. I own my own photography business. I run my studio out of my house.
I also like to fly airplanes. I like to take Brooklyn out for breakfast in the Cessna or the Piper, and we've taken some cool
car. Or the motorcycle.
Right. I took her to the daddy-daughter dance on the Harley, and she still talks about it. It's crazy.
And they're doing it again soon.
I play in the worship team at church, which has been great. It's been great to play guitar again, and it gives me an opportunity to do something I love and do it for God, which is awesome.
I met him when he came back from drill sergeant school.
Her and her roommate were friends of my singer in a band I was playing at the time. I was given a go at being a pro musician, and we were playing at Red Eye Fly, and I heard a girl screaming down in the front, and I looked down and I saw this beautiful blonde, and I said to myself, I'm gonna go talk to her after we're done with this show. And then I found out she had a boyfriend. Oh no. We started dating a while later after she had broke up with her boyfriend, and we were together for
a little while.
2.5, 3 months, and we found out that she was pregnant. Which
I don't know if we should go there.
I don't know how much we should share here.
Because that was hard. Let me tell you.
We found out that we were pregnant, and I was terrified. I remember thinking that just panic. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have a health plan that would have been good enough to get quality care. But
and we weren't married.
We weren't married, so I couldn't get her covered under our health plan. So I called my first sergeant. I was in the reserves at the time, and he said there was something coming up at Fort Sill, a full-time rotation as a drill sergeant. And so I said, hey, sign me up. I need that. I need the health plan. And shortly after I got the confirmation that I was going on the orders, I proposed. My family was trying to make this huge wedding, and we wanted something small, so we had kind of an argument because suddenly the guest list was growing far beyond what I wanted it to. And the courthouse at Georgetown, we went into the basement where they have the clerk that does the marriage licenses. And there was this older lady there, probably in her 60s, and she made some offhand joke about, if you want to take care of it now, you could just go upstairs and find a justice and, start knocking on doors. And we kind of both, at the same time, we kind of looked at each other and we kind of smiled, and Amanda was like, that's going to make them upset. And I said, yes, it is. Let's go do it. So we walked upstairs and we started knocking on doors. We got to this one justice whose secretary said, yeah, he'll do it, but you're gonna have to wait around. He's finishing up some paperwork for a divorce. So we're like, nice. So we did it right there, jeans and t-shirt, in his office. And
I still had wet hair. I just got out of the shower. Yeah. Obviously, we're not planning to get married that day.
And we booked a honeymoon, and then we, maybe a month or two later, we packed up the house and we went to Fort Sill. And I was a drill sergeant, and the hours are awful. I remember telling her towards the beginning that being a drill sergeant in the military, the hours are rough and you're not home a lot, and that the divorce rate was really high. And I remember telling her, if we can make it through this first year.
With a new baby.
Yeah, with a new baby.
A move, no family. My husband was gone a lot. Yeah, he said if we can make it through that 1 year, the rest of our marriage will be a cakewalk. It was a lie, but that was our hardest year.
It was pretty tough. She had a health scare early on in the pregnancy where she thought she was at risk for a miscarriage, and we rushed to the doctor, and it kind of all hit me at once how much I was panicking. This is very, very important to me, and that was kind of a turning point. But we made it through our first year in Fort Sill, and we ended up taking a job in Washington, D.C. And so it was, pack everything into a truck and move again.
It's cold there.
Yeah.
I don't like it. We owned a house there. We raised our family there. We enjoyed being there. But the minute he got offered to come back to Texas, where both of our mothers are, it was no question. We got rid of the house there and moved here. And I will say, 2 cross-country moves in a marriage that's still this young is very, very challenging.
So I was one of those, I call them evangelical atheists. I thought I had it all figured out, man. And I never knew it at the time, but Amanda had started to question her own faith some as a result of me. And, you know, that I never knew it. And, you know, now looking back on it, it's awful. And Amanda met the Stovers through, where did you meet?
I met Ginger at the Plaid Peacock when she was working there still. And she was talking about something that Jason was doing that was really hip and funny. And I said, well, I need to know where you go to church, because that sounds really cool. And she said, oh, my husband's the pastor there. And then I said, okay then, well, you look cool, so tell me where you go. And she wrote down her information on a piece of paper, and she told me later that she never expected me to show, but there I was with purple hair. Showed up. Right on time.
I forgot you showed up with purple hair. I liked the purple hair. I think it was pretty. I was not a believer yet. I was in this weird stage where I didn't believe, but I wanted to. I was reading a lot, and you know, both the Bible and apologetics, and trying to find ways to bolster, you know, a faith that I didn't really have yet. A friend of mine was having a really hard time, and he called me for some advice, and he was feeling suicidal, and I spent, you know, a couple hours on the phone talking with him about God. And then I got off the phone, I had my own little crisis. It's like, what just happened here, you know? And if God is the answer for somebody else, then in my mind, then he's the answer for me too. And I reached out to Jason and I said, hey, you know, let's do this.
So he didn't even tell me he was getting baptized. It popped up as a notification on my phone, James baptism. He changed drastically. And now we're fostering other people's babies, which has become a blessing to the man who never wanted kids.
Never wanted kids.
I would follow him anywhere.
Thanks, babe.
Marriage is hard, but it's worth it.
Give
Give me a line, I will say it.
Awesome, I love it.